What's up, guys? It's your Vincent Valentine EX Turk. Sorry, I look like shit. I just got a cold, so I don't look as good as I usually do. So sorry about that. But anyways, this is kind of a follow-up video to the last video I posted, and also because, well, my share factory in PlayStation 4's, I think it's working again because I'm not having no problems with it. So I think the updates really kicked it up, and now I got a new version of Share Factory, and it looks bombing. Like, I like this version of Share Factory a lot better than the original. And I'm drinking a glass of eggnog. Don't judge me. It's okay to break diet a little bit if you go to the gym and work out a lot, and you eat good the rest of the week. This is my treat for the weekend because tomorrow's Friday. So what that is, this is the follow-up video. Sorry for taking up your time. The follow-up video. What stuff does fit in the original Final Fantasy VII timeline that's part of the completion? So this is where we're not going to talk about the new characters unless they played a direct role. Now, to be fair, Genesis did play a direct role into Sephiroths turning evil and burning down Nibelheim. Because if you remember in Crisis Core, where he says, "No such luck, you are a monster." But that's the only time that he plays any direct... that he plays... so we're not going to count Genesis. Because that's the only time Genesis actually plays a part in the original Final Fantasy VII. We're going to be talking about stuff from the Final Fantasy VII Completion that actually plays part in the original game. That's why I'm using the original Final Fantasy VII footage I recorded me playing. That's what you're watching right now. I think the only things that would actually be in the original canon would be the stuff that you see in the flashbacks. Meaning that you'll be seeing, yes, you won't be able to see Zacks as a second-class soldier if you played this by the original. If you played this by the original, and not completion, Genesis and Jill and second-class Zacks does not exist. This will probably start at Zacks as a first-class soldier. Then, Zacks will end up fighting Sephiroth like he did in Nibelheim. And losing. And then Cloud picks up the Buster Sword and finishes off Sephiroth in that one fight, which is I call round 1, because that's the first time Sephiroth got defeated. And it was by just only a mere human with no Genova cells or Mako energy. That's why Sephiroth was so embarrassed he jumped into the live stream. Now, with that to be said, this shit's good. I don't do this all the time, though. It's bad on your heart, but I see someone put some vodka and some eggnog together. It's supposed to taste good, but you get drunk as hell and you be out like that. But anyways, so yes, and then after Cloud defeats Sephiroth, goes in the live stream. Zacks and Cloud would break out, and then if Zacks and Cloud breaks out of the laboratory, Hojo will report them as fugitives to Shinra. So Shinra would send the rest of their military at Zacks. Zacks would get killed because there would be too many soldiers shooting him. Zacks would give the Buster Sword to Cloud. Grief-stricken Cloud gets mad and wants to get back at Shinra. So Cloud joins Avalanche. But because Cloud is so traumatized, Cloud thinks he's Zacks. But nonetheless, he joins Avalanche as the plan to get back at Shinra, and then the original Final Fantasy VII will play out. Now, since Dirge of Service is right after, we're not going to count what's after. We're going to be talking about the stuff in Dirge of Cerberus that's in the original Final Fantasy VII. And the stuff that's in the original Final Fantasy VII would be when when Lucretia or Lucretia, I like to call her Lucretia because it's spelled that way, and it's actually from the original Final Fantasy VII. Lucretia gets impregnated with Hojo's child. Lucretia turns down Vincent Valentine's marriage proposal because she being forced by Hojo. You know, Lucretia turned down the marriage proposal, hooks up with Hojo. They both fuck. Hojo sticks Genova cells and Mako stuff and a bunch of ungodly like things in Lucretia's and you know, injections in Lucretia's room. Sephiroth is born. When Sephiroth is born, Lucretia well, I'm going to say died because she puts herself in a crystal, but she's in real bad pain, like deathly pain, like gonna die type of pain. But thanks to the Genova cells in her, she's still alive. So she just throws a pity party and sticks herself in a crystal because she's disappointed that she chose that bastard Hojo. And yes, when I say bastard, I mean real bastard. Yeah, man, Hojo is the scum of the world in that series. But we're not going to be talking about him. We're going to be talking about, yes, Lucretia births a baby, and the baby is Sephiroth. Then, you know, then Vincent Valentine gets depressed because he didn't stop Lucretia from going through. Vincent Valentine sleeps in a casket for 27 years. And it's possible, yes, but he has no food and stuff. Vincent has chaos in him. Lucretia revived Vincent with chaos in him after Hojo shot him square in the head. Which would explain why Vincent would wear the bandana on his head, because there's probably a scar mark. Because, I mean, there would be a scar mark if you lived through that. Of course, realistically, you'd be a vegetable after that, but Lucretia put chaos, you know, cells in him. And Vincent already had the indestructible body because Hojo worked on him for a little bit. Hojo put all those monsters in Vincent. So, you know, Vincent was already kind of have an indestructible body. So, even without chaos, he would still live for 27 years without food or water. In fact, if anything, Vincent only eats if he enjoys food. You know, it's just more of a luxury to him. It's not a necessity, you know. If anything, he just eats for enjoyment and for energy. I mean, you'd still lose energy even if you're an immortal, but you won't die. But that's another subject about Vince's physiology. I'm gonna do a separate video for that. But yes, the only things in Dirge of Cerberus that would be part of the original canon would be Lucretia dying, nearly dying, birthing Sephiroth, Vincent Valentine finds out everything that happens, gets depressed, locks himself in a casket for 27 years until Cloud and Avalanche finds him. Then, you know, then Vincent knowing that Cloud will end up bumping into Hojo piques Vincent's interest. Vincent joins Avalanche only to do one thing, and that's to get revenge on Hojo, which would explain right after having children, Vincent lives by himself in the town of Calm. You know, he just lives in a one-bedroom apartment in Calm because he leaves Avalanche because, well, his goal's over. He got revenge on Hojo. And from Dirge of Cerberus, when, you know, I know this won't be part of the thing, but when you say he got his revenge twice, because second time, you know, Hojo put his mind in Vice's body. And, well, actually, Nero probably killed him, actually. Nero actually killed him because, you know, he fused with Vice, which erased any parts of Hojo. But nonetheless, Hojo's gone. But that's not the point. The point is, the thing that's effective in the original Final Fantasy VII that, you know, was in the completion was you know, Lucretia giving birth to Sephiroth, gets hurt really badly. She throws a pity party after finding out Vincent threw a pity party. You know, that stuff happens. Vincent's found in a casket under the Shinra Manor by Cloud. And, you know, an Avalanche. The things that would affect Crisis Core the Crisis Core would have an effect on the original is that Zack, as a was the real first class soldier that Cloud was pretending to be, because Cloud was only pretending to be, Cloud was only pretending to be was pretending to be Zack because he thought he was Zack in his mind. He was, he didn't know who he was, but Zack was the real soldier. So the only thing that affects the original Final Fantasy VII is that Zack, the real soldier, fought Sephiroth, lost. Cloud got Zack's Buster Sword, finished off Sephiroth. Later on, Zack dies by the Shinra army that they both worked so hard for. And feeling betrayed, Cloud sees a dying Zack, seeing his very first best friend dying on there. Takes Zack's Buster Sword as the final gift that Zack gave to Cloud. And then Cloud joins up with Avalanche. And then Cloud joins up with Avalanche as a whole to get revenge. That's why he said he's not. That's why he said he didn't give. That's why in the remake he says he don't care about Barrett's politics. Like Barrett wants to save the planet. Cloud wants revenge. I mean, he doesn't realize this until he gets his memories back. But that's what this was all about. Was the army he worked for killed his best friend. So of course, being pissed off, of course, understandably, you want to get back at the company responsible, and he does. Cloud beats the Shinra Company, Sephiroth, beats Rufus into submission, but, Rufus nearly dies by a weapon. But he does take up the Shinra Company and beat Sephiroth. World saved right there. World is saved right there. Cloud defeated Genova. And, the world is saved. It is saved. So Sephiroth, Genova, and Shinra Company are gone. And then if you count the Advent Children movie, same thing as the remnants, in the one remnant that created Sephiroth, recreated Sephiroth, which I call a teenage version of Sephiroth, because that's what Sephiroth would be as a teenager, but those would have any way to the original story. But you see where I'm getting at? Without the completion, you wouldn't see a large-scale story make sense in the game. Without the completion, you'd still be confused. I mean, you'd wonder who the man with the black spiky hair and big sword is. You would wonder, you'd wonder about the woman, the scientist woman who looks like Eris that Vincent Valentine was in love with. You won't even know who she is without the completion. The completion is needed to complete the game. That's why it's called the completion or compilation. I don't care what you call it. It makes everything complete. Without those things, the game is not complete. The story is not complete. You see where I'm getting at? The point is, all of this is. Even though I'm just talking about the stuff that fits in. If you really think about the stuff that didn't fit in, which was in my last video, it would make sense. But this is for people who are exclusively Final Fantasy VII only. And why I urge people to play the completion. Now, I granted that now everyone's going to be able to play Crisis Core because no one wants to buy a PSP anymore. That's not even popular. You can emulate it. But there's just servers, I'm pretty sure most people have a PS2. Why don't you get yourself a PS2 and play that at least? Or go watch it on both things on YouTube. But nonetheless, I'm running over time, so I want to say this. May the crystal be with you. Be safe. Times are getting really hard. Stay strong, my brothers. Stay strong, my archfiends. And may the crystal be with you.